Hello students, it's me, Miss Bryant, and I'm teaming up today with Miss Miller. This is a continuation of our digital citizenship unit. This week, our focus is digital health and wellness. Today's topic is the psychological impact of overusing digital technology. Before we begin, please take out the worksheets you completed last week about technology usage. In case you've forgotten, they look like this. Now is the time to scramble to make something up if you have not completed them yet. Feel free to pause the video to finish your worksheet if necessary. Now, let's get started. First, let's go over the terms you need to pay attention to. These terms will be referenced throughout the video, so make sure you're familiar with them before moving on. These terms have been added to the terms list on Canvas under the Digital Citizenship module if you need to reference them. The first term is addiction. Addiction is a state of being dependent on something. You may have heard about some types of addictions, but for our purposes today, we're going to be talking about internet addiction. The next term is tolerance. Tolerance refers to how much you need of a substance to get a desired result. Remember when you were younger and you were bouncing off the walls after one soda? Now you can probably drink a couple of sodas and still be pretty calm. The more soda you drink, the less it affects you. Now you might need 4 sodas before you feel jittery. You've built up a sugar tolerance. The next term is withdrawal. Withdrawal is what you experience when you try to quit something that you've grown to depend on. You may become irritable or cranky. It's like when your parents are really grumpy in the morning before they've had their coffee. They've built up a dependence on caffeine, and if they go without it for too long, they start to experience withdrawal symptoms. The next term is compulsiveness. Compulsiveness is the act of continuing to use something even if the cost outweighs the pleasure. The last term is I disorder. I disorder is the obsessive need to check for messages, update your social media, or use the internet. How many times have you checked your phone since this CAP started? Now that you're familiar with these terms, let's talk about how technology overuse impacts you psychologically. If you use the internet too much, you may become addicted to it. People with internet addiction experience cravings and withdrawal symptoms just like people who are addicted to drugs. The reason for this is because the more we use technology, the more our brain's reward centers associate with it. What's a reward center? Well, we'll explain it like this. Your brain likes to feel happy. When you use an addictive substance, whether that be drugs, food, or technology, your brain likes it and is happy. The more you use the substance, the more your brain feels happy. However, if your brain continually associates happiness with the substance, it starts to crave the substance more often. Unfortunately, your brain also builds up a tolerance, which makes it harder to be happy. Remember our soda example? Take a moment to reflect on the following questions. Write 1 or 2 sentences on the back of your worksheet in response to these questions. Feel free to rewind this video or press pause when you need to. When you have answered the questions, you are ready to move on to the next section. What does it mean to build up a tolerance? How does your brain become addicted to something? And the final question, what happens when you go without a substance that you are addicted to? Remember, you can pause and rewind this video in order to write down your answers to these questions. Let's talk some more about your brain. When your brain wants something and wants as much of it as possible, as soon as possible. This can lead to multitasking. Have you ever listened to music on your laptop? Have you ever listened to music while writing a paper? Have you ever listened to music and written a paper while scrolling through social media on your phone? Have you ever listened to music, written a paper, and scrolled through social media while chatting with someone through video time? Have you ever listened to music, written a paper, scrolled through social media, and video chatted someone while texting? Have you ever listened to music, written a paper, scrolled through social media, video chatted someone, and texted while the TV is on in the background? If you have, you'll know it probably didn't seem that intense at the time. Seeing it like this, though, may seem more overwhelming. While you're on your phone, you're missing part of what's happening in the song or on the TV show. When you're focusing on the song, you aren't focusing on your paper and may make mistakes. Multitasking divides your attention and overstimulates your brain. We'll talk more about this. Even though your brain wants to experience as much technology as possible, multitasking actually makes you experience less. The following questions are based on the worksheets you completed for homework. Answer these questions on the back of your worksheets. How many of the people you observed were multitasking? What were they missing out on while multitasking? And the last question, how often did you multitask while completing this assignment? Remember, you can pause this video to write down your answers and rewind to pick up any questions you missed. Now that we know the dangers of internet addiction and overuse, let's talk about some of the solutions. In order to combat multitasking, try sectioning out your time. Instead of watching TV while writing a paper, spend 20 minutes solely focused on your paper. Then, take a 10-minute break for social media, TV, food, whatever you choose. You can even try going for a 10-minute walk. After 3 20-minute work sessions, take a 30-minute break. 20 minutes of work, 10 minutes of break, 20 minutes of work, 10 minutes of break, 20 minutes of work, 30 minutes of break. Repeat. If you find that your main distraction is your phone, or your computer, or any digital technology device, there's an app for that. Forest is an app that provides a little virtual incentive to stay on task. When you want to stay off your phone or your computer, you plant a tree. The tree grows the longer the app is open. If you leave the app, the tree dies. If you stay on task multiple times, you'll eventually have a forest. It's the digital equivalent of a gold star for good behavior. In order to jumpstart your journey into less internet dependence, Ms. Miller and I have created an assignment for you this week. The next time it is nice outside, go for a walk, ride a bike, or get some other kind of healthy physical activity for an hour before you pull out your phone or tablet or take a seat at the computer. Additionally, try to do an activity that does not involve digital technology and gets you up and moving for at least half an hour every day this week. Every day this week, you will upload a journal entry on Canvas discussing your feelings about this assignment, your progress, any changes you've noticed, and how you'll implement this into your daily life. At the end of the week, we will do a discussion board to talk about what we've learned from this experiment. Make sure you fill out the Canvas assessment after completing this video. Feel free to rewatch parts to help you answer questions, and Ms. Miller and I will see you next week.